I think what's different in 2016 is that people can actually commercialize their hobby during their life, right? So I was like, you hear these stories of this woman or this guy who's working at, some big company, the IBM or something like that, and they come home every day at 5 o'clock and they go into their workshop, or they go to the kitchen table and they make jewelry there, or they go to the workshop and they make these beautiful toys for children, these wooden toys. And I think historically these people would basically say, well, that's my hobby, and my job is where I get my pension and all those different things. I think what's actually flipping right now is that they're saying, wait a second, I'm actually going to commercialize my hobby. Number one, I can make way more money ever if I focus on these rocking chairs or in this jewelry. And second of all, I don't want to work a 9 to 5 just so I can eventually retire and go do what I love doing. I want to do that right now. And I think if you guys can encourage, first of all, on the aspirational side, the inspiration side, if you can inspire them to say, maybe I should be commercializing my hobby. And then you give them the tools, like here are 10 steps on how to actually do that in a way that isn't this, you're not just smacking them in the face with a curriculum, but actually teaching them properly through a structured process of here's what you should be doing first and here's what you do second. I think that's amazing. It tends to be a bit of a lonely sport. We all, any good entrepreneur knows about those sleepless nights where you're up and everyone else is sleeping in the house, or those early mornings where you're in the office by yourself having that first coffee. By creating, that's right, no office, you're walking in the street, that's right, Starbucks, or before Starbucks even opens. But I think the fact that you actually bringing a community around it and creating a bit of a tribe, around it, I think that creates incredible. And what's nice about e-commerce as opposed to traditional retail is it's not actually competitive. So you can set up 2 different stores, both selling different hats, and it doesn't really matter, right? One takes one geography, the other takes another, or one focuses on this type of demographic, another on the other. You're not just limited by geography in the same way you would be in a brick and mortar context, where you don't want to actually incubate 2 stores in the same street because maybe they compete with each other, right? So I think what you're saying on the incubation side makes a lot of sense. In fact, we have 300,000 merchants that are successful on Shopify, and we can actually, if it's helpful, we can help you also provide some maybe guest speakers or people dropping in and says, hey, like I'm in town for the day. I'd love to come spend time with people that are kind of going through what I went through a couple of years ago. And we'd be happy to do stuff like that. But I love it. I also feel that, I said earlier that entrepreneurship is, the connotation of it, I think, has become a lot more positive. It's a lot more something that people aspire to be, and I think that's very different than it was decades in the past. You became an entrepreneur when you couldn't do anything else, and I think now, and that's exactly right. It's something that, and it's respected by peers and like family and friends. So now that people actually want to be entrepreneurs, I think that if you guys can reduce the learning cycle, the time you need, basically the life cycle to become an entrepreneur, and you can reduce it to best practices and to these are the core takeaways you need to know, and forget all the noise because these are the things that are most important. You create this business creation catalyst that I think is going to, So it's very simple. So the way to look at it is something like an Amazon fulfillment, for example, is like a 1 to N. You've started something, now you need to scale it. A Shopify is 0 to 1. And that's a big difference, right? Basically, you're starting from nothing and creating something. And after that, you can scale if you sort of want. But a lot of these other things are sort of, 1 to N. And you're right, you said earlier, there are some free products out there. Every CMS, every blog platform in the world now has e-commerce widget that fits into it. The problem with those is, and we've seen this time and time again, is that just by adding a widget to your blog doesn't mean you actually have a business, because it doesn't consider inventory management or analytics or reporting or financial data or marketing or all these different campaigns you need to be running. And so I think some of these free tools expose people. It's almost like a teaser into building your first business. The problem is it doesn't scale very well. And so the idea with Shopify was, what if we built something that was easy to use for the smallest of merchants just getting started? But even if you were Procter & Gamble or your GE or your Drake or Kanye West, you can still use Shopify because it scales. And that's really what we've done, where you can kind of go from cradle to scale and you never have to leave the platform. And that was very deliberate, and that took a lot of time, but that's really what,
That's what Harley Finkelstein, I'm the COO of Shopify. I want to welcome you all to this incredible course. I got a chance to meet the gents at Tecademics, and I'm super impressed with what they're doing. Shopify was built around this premise of making commerce better for everyone. We provide software that helps people sell products all over the internet and also in person. But more fundamentally to that, we're a business creation company. We care about entrepreneurs. We want to help as many small businesses succeed. We've had the good fortune to watch over 300,000 of these small businesses build incredible businesses on Shopify that have sold more than $20 billion. And we don't take credit for any of those successes, but we played a very small part in giving them the right tools and the right ingredients to build those businesses. And I think partnering with an incredible group of people like Tecademics and what they're doing on the education side, I think is amazing. And so I think you guys are all in for a real treat over these next couple of hours, next couple of days. And I feel very proud to be working with Tecademics. Thanks, guys.